All right, guys, I'm gonna do some reading here about FBI vehicle surveillance. And I'll just get right into this article. Shout out to Tragic Magic 212 for teaching me or turning me on to the term FBI floating box. I just did a search on Google with that term, and I was led immediately to this website. And I'll just go ahead and start reading it, and then I'll chat, I guess, as we go along when things kind of pop into my head. But for now, here we go. Wheel artist. That's spy talk for an outdoor surveillance specialist operating in a vehicle. The FBI has lots of them. Agents and BUCARs, short for bureau cars. Together they're called vehicle surveillance teams. Know your adversary. Make no mistake about it. FBI vehicle surveillance teams are deadly. They get results. Consistently. FBI agents receive the best training and the best equipment. They don't just follow you, they surround you. They become part of your environment. You never see the same vehicle twice. They blend in with traffic. Up to 20 FBI agents at any one time. Even more if the investigation involves national security. Every agent on the surveillance team has just one thing on his mind: to get you, and they will, unless you read this article carefully. What you'll learn. This is the first article in a 5-part series that teaches you how to respond when you're confronted by an FBI vehicle surveillance team. And I'm only going to read Article 1, being that's what I'm covering. And I will just tell you since now, just to save you time, don't really bother digging around for Article 3, 4, and 5. They're not here, which they're the most crucial ones. But anyways, Article 1 is, it says here, in the first tutorial, the article you're reading now, you'll learn the fundamentals of how vehicle surveillance teams operate. Here we go. The FBI, a dangerous adversary. The FBI is... Sorry about that. Man, I should have got me water. I'll be right back. All right. Back to it. The FBI, a dangerous adversary. The FBI is mainly interested in activity that occurs while you are out of your vehicle. The goal of an FBI vehicle surveillance team, therefore, is to track you to that location and then help the foot surveillance team establish contact on you. Background. The FBI's vehicle surveillance system is the result of 6 decades of experience. Wow, 60 years. From rudimentary beginnings during Prohibition, the FBI system as it exists today is built in large part from techniques originally developed from 1938 to 1943 by the Gestapo to monitor and suppress resistance in Nazi-occupied countries. With the addition of more than 50 years of modifications and improvements, the FBI today possesses a surveillance apparatus that has led to the ruin of many suspects. Triple threat. Depending on the situation, FBI agents can choose from 3 different methods of vehicle surveillance. These methods are floating box surveillance, handoff surveillance, and static surveillance. Floating box surveillance. Floating box surveillance is based on continuous coverage by the same team. FBI agents create a box of surveillance vehicles around you. The box floats with you as you travel along your route, hence the name floating box. It is very effective in urban and suburban locations. Very few suspects break out of a properly run floating box. Now, just a little side note, me personally, I experience the floating box almost a daily basis on my commute coming back from work. And even just sometimes while driving around the city, like for lunch. I mean, there's just no rest for the wicked, right? These gang stalkers are wicked. Handoff surveillance. Handoff surveillance involves more than one team. At key intersections, oh boy, am I familiar with this, or other decision points along your route, surveillance control is passed from one floating box team to another. Man, that's exactly what I've been sensing. Or even, well, I see it and then I just can sense it. This is called phased coverage. It is very effective when large distances are involved. That's my commute. Freeways, expressways, long commutes, highways, and so on. It is also used in city situations when lengthy periods of time are involved. Again, no rest for the wicked, eh? Static surveillance. Static surveillance is also based on phased coverage, but it uses fixed observation points instead of a floating box. Each observation post is located at a decision point, major intersection, etc., along the target's route. Although this method of surveillance leaves many gaps in coverage, it is very difficult to detect this type of surveillance. The FBI uses this method when they first begin coverage on a hard target, such as a trained intelligence agent who is likely to be on the lookout for surveillance. The FBI switches to floating box surveillance after they have identified general locations where coverage is required. Let's see, now I'm on to the FBI's floating box system. All right, we got a diagram here, and I'll start reading it. Hey, I got 2 people. Whoever's there, welcome. I'm just reading about FBI surveillance techniques, mostly in traffic. So here we go. The FBI's floating box system. The FBI's floating box is a powerful system. The wheel artist, aka gang stalkers, don't follow you, they surround you. They blend in. They become part of your ecosystem. An FBI floating box can be run with as few as 3 vehicles or as many as 20. Yup, I've seen that. I'm certain I get more than 20. Well, let's see, where am I at? Okay, a team consisting of 7 to 10 vehicles is typical. It is not unheard of for 50 vehicles to be involved, especially in a major case where arrest is imminent. Huh. There's been times where I can't say necessarily 50, well, maybe. Like on the commutes, there's times where they just start popping out of every off ramp, every exit. It's just weird. They leave, they arrive, and I'm always in this floating box. That's why I drive kind of quick, because they have a hard time keeping up. Wow. Well, anyways, let me go on. The FBI has for many years managed to keep secret the size of their vehicle surveillance teams. Even in court proceedings, the most they'll admit to is 20 vehicles. In some surveillance situations, FBI wheel artists, aka gang stalkers, don't just blend in with your environment, they become your environment. The image shown below illustrates the major components of the FBI's floating box system of vehicle surveillance. So let's take a look here. So here we are, we're the target in the middle. There's always what they call the advance car in front. And there you go, command. So there's the handler, AKA, right? Command, AKA handler. And then there's backup, so that when you spot the command and then he has to turn off, well, then the backup will take over. And then we got the two outriders who always can kind of step in if one of these people gets spotted. All right, let's continue on here. The target's vehicle is shown in blue. The vehicles of the surveillance team are depicted in gray. The green rectangles represent urban terrain. The illustration is not rendered to scale. Distances in the real world are significantly greater. Furthermore, surveillance vehicles in the real world are never the identical make, model, and color. FBI teams use sedans, which is 4 doors, coupes, which are 2 doors, station wagons, pickup trucks, vans, minivans, sport utility vehicles, taxis, motorcycles, commercial trucks, ambulances, 18-wheelers, and others. Wow, isn't that an extensive description of the vehicles that they use? And I always suspected quite a few of those type that they just described, where I just read off, are involved in my stalking, no doubt, especially with the 18-wheelers. Anyways, specialized roles, here we go. Each of the surveillance vehicles in the above illustration is charged with carrying out a specific assignment. Command vehicle. The command vehicle, aka handler, is tasked with maintaining visual contact with the target. The agent is said to have command of the target. This is a pivotal role. The agent keeps the other team members informed of the target's direction, speed, intentions, etc. Backup vehicle. The backup vehicle provides a fill-in function. Because the command vehicle is the vehicle most likely to be detected by the target. The FBI has devised a number of strategies that let the backup vehicle take over the command role, thereby allowing the previous command vehicle to exit the surveillance box. Many suspects have been duped by this strategy, as you'll learn later in this article. Advance vehicle. The advance vehicle is like an early warning system. The agent provides advance warning of obstacles, hazards, or traffic conditions that would otherwise catch the surveillance team unaware. That might be a little loud. I'll lower it for you all. Here we go. The advanced vehicle also fulfills another important function. If the FBI has bugged your telephone or your office or your residence, they're likely to already know your destination. So there you go. It's not always remote neural monitoring. Sometimes it's as simple as just things are bugged. Naturally, the advanced vehicle arrives before you do. Many suspects have been completely fooled by the undercover FBI agent who is already seated at the restaurant when the suspect arrives. Wow, makes total sense, right? That's how they always get the jump on us, because they're already there, waiting. And I've seen that before. That's why I don't even go out to eat anymore. I make all my own food. Or occasionally I'll buy some freezer, the frozen food. But otherwise, I make all my own food. I don't trust going out no more, not one bit. Whew, I've had some close calls. Anyways, Outrider vehicle. The Outrider vehicles patrol the perimeter of the floating box. Their assignment is to make certain that the target does not get outside the containment of the box. They also play a key role when the target makes a turn at an intersection, as you'll learn later in this article. Here we go. Surveillance advantages. The floating box is a very powerful and flexible system. It allows the FBI to successfully respond to a variety of situations. Wow, okay. The FBI is almost never caught off guard. Huh, go figure, right? Recovery from mistakes. If visual contact with the target is lost, the box can be collapsed inward, enabling the agents to quickly reacquire command of the target. Whenever the FBI loses visual contact with the target, the surveillance team immediately executes a lost command drill. The FBI has a number of strategies they use to reacquire command of the target. Quick response. The floating box also allows the FBI to react quickly to a target who is attempting to evade surveillance. If the target unexpectedly makes a left turn, for example, the left Outrider vehicle turns left and becomes the new advance vehicle. The other elements in the team shift roles as appropriate. More on this later. Signature shift. Here we are. The floating box makes it possible to quickly alter the signature of the team, making them more difficult to detect. In the previous illustration of the floating box system, there are 5 surveillance vehicles. At first glance, one might assume they can be reconfigured 5 different ways if they switch roles. In actual practice, a team of 5 vehicles can be reconfigured. 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 equals 120 different ways. Wow. Not all of these configurations are useful in the field, especially when the command vehicle's role is unchanged. In practice, about 24 configurations are practical, more than enough to deceive most targets. Here we go now, the FBI's stakeout box. A vehicle surveillance operation begins with a stakeout box. The FBI watches your office or residence, waiting for you to get in your vehicle and drive away. At that moment, the stakeout box becomes a floating box. The image shown below illustrates the basic components of an FBI stakeout box. All right. I'll stay zoomed in there as I go down to read. The target's vehicle is shown in blue. The vehicles of the surveillance team are depicted in gray. The image is not rendered to scale. Distances are much greater in the real world. Let's just read them off from left to right. There's Alpha, there's Bravo, Trigger, Delta, and Charlie. Huh. Okay, let's read the assignments. Note how vehicles Alpha, Bravo, and Charlie and Delta are pre-positioned. They are pointed away from the parked target vehicle. Each of these 4 layup vehicles is ready to initiate a follow, no matter which direction the target takes. Trigger vehicle. The trigger vehicle is responsible for maintaining visual contact with the parked target vehicle. When the target begins to drive away, the agent in the trigger vehicle alerts the other team members of the stakeout box. The agent is triggering the rest of the team into action, hence the name trigger vehicle. Now we got layup vehicle. After being alerted by the trigger vehicle, the appropriate layup vehicle, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or Delta, picks up the follow and becomes the command vehicle. The other vehicles assume roles as outriders and backup until the team can be augmented with other FBI vehicles being held in reserve. Here we go. Picking up the follow. In a smoothly run stakeout box, the layup vehicle that is initiating the follow will often pull out in front of the target vehicle, as shown in the illustration above. The layup vehicle becomes the command vehicle with command of the target. When the command vehicle is in front of the moving target vehicle, it is called cheating. A cheating command vehicle is more difficult to detect than a command vehicle that is following the target. Command of the target. Here we go. The phrase command of the target refers to visual contact with the target of the surveillance operation. The surveillance vehicle having command of the target is called the command vehicle. The name is appropriate, for the command vehicle also has virtual command of the entire surveillance team. The agent in the command vehicle informs the rest of the team whenever the target vehicle becomes or changes direction, adjusts speed, or stops. The surveillance team follows the guidance of the command vehicle. The control and power that is provided by this approach is offset by the vulnerability of the command vehicle. In many surveillance operations, it is the command vehicle that is first detected by the target. In order to overcome this vulnerability, the FBI has developed a number of tactics to dupe the target of the surveillance operation. Handoff. The image shown below provides an example of how the FBI often reacts to a turn by the target vehicle. Okay, so let's see. Command vehicle continues through the intersection, and then there's a parked layup vehicle pulls out and takes over command of the target. I mean, honestly, everything I'm reading sounds just like what you see in the movies, right? When people are being staked out. It's Sounds just exactly the same. After watching the target make a right turn at the intersection, the command vehicle continues straight through the intersection. The agent has, however, alerted one of the layup vehicles that the FBI has prepositioned at major decision points along the target's route. Damn, that makes so much sense. That's why it seems like you can't ever get away from these damn gang stalkers, guys, because after they have learned our usual routes, then they have these stakeout vehicles just kind of sitting there, or a parked layup vehicle. That's the right term. Wow, that's crazy. So it says here, as you can see from the illustration above, this is a very potent maneuver. The target sees the car that has been following him, continues straight through the intersection. He continues to question whether or not he was actually under surveillance, aka being followed, stalked. Perhaps he was just imagining things. As a result, the layup vehicle is often able to pick up the follow without attracting any suspicion. And they do it smoothly too. I can attest to that. Now here we go. Let's see what we got. The image shown below shows a variation on this maneuver. Instead of pulling in behind the target, the layup vehicle acquires a command of the target by pulling out ahead of the target. This is called a cheating command. It has fooled a lot of suspects of FBI investigations. A hard target, however, will eventually notice a telltale pattern of vehicles on side streets who pull away from the curb and turn the corner in front of him. This is how you detect the surveillance teams, by watching for patterns of behavior around you. Commit vehicle. In order to further disguise their activities, the FBI often utilizes a commit vehicle, as shown in the illustration below. All right, so we have us, the target, in the blue vehicle. Now, off to the far right is a layup vehicle, and then to the left is the commit vehicle. Now, let's read about the commit vehicle. The commit vehicle is prepositioned as or at a major decision point along the target's route. The FBI agent in the commit vehicle is charged with watching the approaching target vehicle. I've seen these people, they're usually on the off-ramps and they just sit there and they stay there. His assignment is to observe when the target has committed himself to a specific route, hence the name commit vehicle. Because he is parked in a parking lot, driveway, or side street, his presence is difficult to detect by the target. Using a tactic like this allows the layup vehicle to be parked out of sight, as shown in the image above. At the appropriate moment, the commit vehicle cues the layup vehicle to begin moving. This permits the layup vehicle to smoothly enter the situation and acquire command of the target without attracting the attention of the target. The target does not see the layup vehicle pull away from the curb. He only sees what appears to be just another vehicle in the normal flow of traffic. So these guys are super sneaky when they're surveilling us. Go figure, right? And so let's see what it says here. Background. A significant portion of the FBI's training program is devoted to timing. Agents must become proficient at judging distance and time during surveillance operations. If the agent in the commit vehicle does her job properly, she can cue the layup vehicle to enter the situation in a manner that is invisible to the target. FBI recruits spend weeks learning these skills and an entire career perfecting them. The FBI denies, of course, right? They always deny. The FBI denies that Seattle, Atlanta, New York, and Philadelphia are key training areas for their vehicle surveillance teams. Wow, so they even have committed areas to doing their training. That's crazy. That's the end of Article 1, guys. I'll do Article 2 at another time. And let me just read to you what it's about. In the next tutorial in this 5-part series, you'll learn about the tactics, diversions, and decoys that an FBI vehicle surveillance team uses to keep you from detecting them. You'll see how the FBI modifies its vehicles. You'll find out about the basic driving skills of FBI wheel artists, aka gangstalkers. You'll learn why you never see them communicating with each other, and you'll see how the vehicle surveillance team supports the foot surveillance team. And like I said before, guys, it's very unfortunate, but Article 3, 4, and 5 are missing from the website. I've tried to locate them and to no avail, no luck just yet. But let me just read to you what Article 3, 4, and 5 are about, because they would have been very nice to have, to be using as a tool for us. Article 3 says, in the third tutorial, you'll learn about advanced methods of vehicle surveillance like setups, traps, ambushes, and attacks. You'll also find out about psychological operations that the FBI can run against you while you're driving. You'll discover how they can use operant conditioning to covertly coerce you to alter your route, which I've experienced that, and leave you thinking it was your idea. Yep. Case studies supported by custom prepared illustrations show you exactly how it's done. So go against your gut with that one sometimes, I guess, huh? Like if they're trying to direct you a certain way, don't go that way. Keep going the way you intend. And then Article 4 would have discussed, it says here in the fourth tutorial, you'll learn how to defend yourself against a vehicle surveillance team. That would have been nice. You'll find out about anti-surveillance. That's spy talk for detecting the presence of vehicle surveillance. You'll learn about the telltale patterns that give them away, and you'll be able to detect them without them realizing you've spotted them. You'll see 5 maneuvers you can use while driving to trick them into revealing themselves. I've heard doing 3 or 4 right-hand turns usually is a good way. You'll also learn about counter-surveillance. That's spy talk for obstructing and harassing a vehicle surveillance team. You'll see 10 maneuvers you can use while driving to make things very unpleasant for the FBI. Maybe I've already been doing that, just on my own, like, innately. Because I know I've gotten these guys to back off at times, and then they just come right back, right? They'll let off for a little bit, but then they come right back. And I really wish Article 3, 4, and 5 would have been here, but they're just not. Well, anyways, here's what Article 5 would have been discussing. In the 5th tutorial, you'll receive step-by-step instructions for breaking out of surveillance. You'll see how to give the goons the slip. You'll learn 3 methods for exploiting the flaws in the FBI's floating box system. All right, so I'm just going to do a search later on for exploiting the flaws in the FBI's floating box system. And if I find anything on that, I'll read it. I'll read up on it, guys, and I'll be sure to present it to you. And then here it says the first method teaches you how to outmaneuver a cheating command vehicle and its backup unit. The second method shows you how to beat the FBI's stakeout box. And the third method explains how to slip away while the goons are shifting from vehicle to foot surveillance. In each case, the FBI is forced to implement a lost command drill in order to try and find you again. So that's all there is for now. If you guys want to go to this website yourself, now it does say not secure, but I'm not giving away any personal information, but there's the website, and I'll put that in the description as well. Here is what's covered. FBI Vehicle Surveillance 1, which is what I just read, and then FBI Vehicle Surveillance 2 is on here. 3, 4, and 5 is missing, unfortunately. Well, I hope you guys were able to hang in there. I know it's kind of boring to just see the screen and reading, but maybe just close your eyes and just listen and soak in the information, or go to the website and reread it for yourself. But remember, education is the best tool that we can also have to help combat against the tactics that we are facing on a daily basis with this damn gang stalking. Everyone, much love to you all, much light. Just stay strong, try not to break, and hang in there. Just hang in there. I think we're about to have a break here real soon. Y'all take care. Be well.